for the first 7 minutes or so of this video, my audio quality is pretty poor, but don't worry, we notice it's gone wrong and fix it, so you can still enjoy the podcast as intended. Goodbye and enjoy.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Openly Beated Sandbox. It's 2021. Happy New Year, Jamie.
Happy New Year, Jack.
I'm going to do this and you're going to have to Photoshop in a party popper effect.
Can't wait to not do that.
Good luck with that. Yeah, we are filming this on New Year's Day, relatively early in the morning, starting the year as we mean to go on. We hope you all very much enjoyed New Year's as much as you could. And at least now we can say goodbye to 2020. And hopefully soon this year will be a better one.
Exactly. We're very excited. It's 10:20 a.m. So
it is.
The lighting, if you're watching this on YouTube, the lighting actually should be consistent throughout, rather than what usually happens is it plunges into darkness about halfway through.
Because we're professionals.
Jack has just done his teeth. I'm doing the opposite. I'm staining them with some coffee.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is a good little mug. It's just a keep calm and carry on mug.
That's what you need right now.
Which is what we're doing for the next couple of months before we get vaccinated.
Yeah, pretty much. That's that. I mean, I'm drinking water. Jamie's drinking coffee. 10 a.m. so we don't have any else to show off.
Or do we? I'm not drinking it.
I did have some funky ones last night.
I'm not even going to entertain that.
We'll show those off in future.
Oh, I had some funky beer last night, but it wasn't funky because it was trendy and unique. It was odd.
Funky because it was gone off. Oh man.
Okay,
yeah.
so
let's.
Yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say, we're gonna start this video by being hopeful and forward-thinking and looking at games that are coming out in 2021. And then we'll move on to some standard Sandbox antics.
So the data that we're going to be going through 2021 games, which is really exciting. I love doing this at the start of the year. It's really fun. It's also fun to see how many of them actually come out. We're using Wikipedia, but it's great. There's like a huge list of them. This is definitely the best place to get this information from. Like it's neatly ordered. It's like a list, and it's got like everything. Like, have you ever heard of Werewolf? I mean, I personally haven't heard of Werewolf: The Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest.
I'm not sure if I have. It's the very first one on there.
So I think, pardon me, sorry again. Another little fun thing in the morning is that I'm rusty. I'm not ready to talk yet, but I'm going to be talking a lot. So the hardware that we're looking at in 2021 is we've got PC, Mac, Linux, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, iOS, Android, and Stadia. That is what we're looking at. That is the gaming landscape in 2021.
There are now more ways to play video games than ever before in history.
There is so many. Did I talk to you about? I mean, because I talked to Kieran about this on Hitbox. Ratatouille, the game.
No.
Do you mind if I just take a very quick tangent?
Played Ratatouille the game, so I'm interested to see where this tangent goes.
It's really funny how many platforms it's on. So this is going to be the same thing for this cross-generational period, right?
Yeah.
So Ratatouille the game came out on the Game Boy Advance, the GameCube, Microsoft Windows, Nintendo DS, OS X, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, Wii, Xbox 360, and the PlayStation 3. That is too many platforms for Ratatouille the game.
That's really funny. It was like right in the cross section of so many consoles, which I guess is kind of where we're at the moment.
We're
Oh,
gonna
that's
have.
really funny.
There's gonna be so many games that are gonna be on Stadia, PS4, PS5, Xbox One. There's gonna be so many.
It's like Cyberpunk was released on like 9 consoles
I
or
know.
something, which is potentially a source of a lot of issues, and that's probably going to happen a lot in the future because people have got to test their games on 28 different platforms. Oh man, yeah, I think we're going to start to see more and more exclusives as this goes on, especially now so many other franchises are entering like the video game industry, like KFC particularly.
KFC is my personal wildcard bet of 2021. They're coming in.
I reckon Soldier Boy is going to come back too.
Admittedly, they're using a PC. You know, it's not actually their own hardware.
It's just a PC.
It's just a PC.
It's made by, I think it's made by the people who made my PC.
What? Microsoft Windows?
No, isn't it made by a certain like third-party company that just build PCs for people? I can't remember what they're called. It's probably on my PC somewhere. Anyway, that's that. Should we jump into this gargantuan list of games?
Yeah. Do you mind if I just check something real quick? Sorry, if listeners, if for the last 7 minutes or so there's been a little bit of background noise. I think I've sorted it out now with my mic.
Hopefully.
No idea what was going on there. Anyway, as we were saying.
Yeah. The list of games. Should we just go through? So we've got a big comprehensive list of every single video game that is known to be releasing in 2021, at least on Wikipedia. Should we just pick out ones that interest us most?
I think so.
As we go down?
I think so.
We'll do it chronologically. We'll start in January. Any of the top 5 interest you at all?
No. I mean, I
Five
know
Nights
that
at Freddy's Core Collection?
No, that doesn't interest me in the slightest. That's basically the one that's already out in VR, but not in VR.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were very excited about Scott Pilgrim versus the World being re-released.
I love the film. You still haven't seen it.
Yeah. That's a really stupid... I really should have watched it by now. It's really weird.
Yeah, you'll love it. Yeah, I should read the comic, to be fair. That could be good. I mean, yeah. Film's great. The film is just a video game in movie form. So...
It's already a game that exists. I think we can move on from that.
Yeah, the main one that stands out to me is Hitman 3.
Yeah.
That's like the first kind of big AAA game on this list.
Yep.
That isn't a re-release. I've literally, as of about a week ago, just started playing Hitman 2.
Ooh.
So that's quite good timing. I do very much enjoy it. It's the sort of thing I like. I like stealthing around, sneakily killing people, or trying to stay hidden.
I think I need to get Hitman 2, really. Well, Hitman 3. I might just go straight to 3, I guess.
I mean, I've never played the first one, and I didn't really feel like I was too lost in the story.
Yeah.
Although it is insane. It starts off like this shadow corporation that taken over the world and is destroying the world. I'm like, oh, I thought this was going to be way smaller stakes.
Well, it's funny because all the gameplay, and I played it around a friend's house.
Yeah.
Like, quite a bit. And you're just all these high stakes, but you end up like dressing up as a chef at a party and killing some dude with a frying pan.
Yeah. It's really funny. It's pretty campy. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to Hitman 3. None stand out to me for a while, so you can have a look.
Disgaea 6 is... it's not a game that I'm going to get, but it's quite a big, substantial leap for that series, because it's the first game that's using 3D models of that series.
That's cool. Defiance of Destiny.
They're always very highly reviewed games. I personally... They're not for me. I tried Disgaea 4, and it wasn't really my sort of thing. And they're all very similar, so I think if you don't like one of them, it seems pretty much you probably won't like the rest of them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The Medium on January 28th is something I've heard a bit about. a fun psychological horror game for PC and Xbox only.
Yeah, is that? I feel like it's a Game Pass game, which if it is, I'm very hyped for that.
Probably. It doesn't actually say anywhere. Oh my god, it was originally announced for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and Wii U in 2012, but for want of better technology, reappeared in May 2020.
Jack,
it doesn't mention Game Pass.
It's coming day one to Game Pass.
It is?
It is, yeah.
Cool. Troy Baker voices the primary antagonist. Yeah, that looks like a cool game. I might be getting that on PC. That could be a fun, spooky one for us two to play.
Yeah, it does. It does actually look pretty good. I know they delayed it, and I think one of their reasons, as in not, I mean recently delayed it, as in it was originally meant to come out in December.
Okay, yeah.
And I think part of that reason was because Cyberpunk would have been coming out like the day after or the day before or something, which wouldn't have been good for them.
Definitely a good plan. I mean, regardless of what's happened with Cyberpunk, it's like one of the best-selling games of all time.
It's insane. It's
doing crazy.
I'm pretty sure it's the biggest single-player launch on Steam ever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. It's doing the numbers. After that, I mean, the Yakuza Remastered Collection doesn't really appeal to me, but people who like the Yakuza franchise might be excited for that.
Nothing else that stands out to me for January, honestly.
God's Will 4, I'm pretty sure I've heard of that one. That could be a fun one for Switch. Oh, that's a new Deep Silver game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That looks pretty good. I know nothing about this one, but I want to mention it because this is the greatest name I've ever heard for a video game. And it's the sort of thing you particularly will absolutely love. And I can tell you're already looking at it. It's called ReZero Starting Life in Another World, The Prophecy of the Throne. That sounds like a game title that Jamie conjures up while playing Game Dev Tycoon.
I live for games that are called that. It's brilliant.
That is definitely a Japanese game, right?
Yes, it is. It's a visual novel.
There you go.
I've heard of ReZero before.
Yeah, actually. I thought I had. I thought it was Zero Escape at first, but I got it confused. But it sounds like a similar thing.
Oh, I love it. I just love it. Spike Chunsoft are great providers of ridiculous sounding video games.
Brilliant. Similar to Persona 3. Yeah, so that's January for us too, I think.
February is there's some good stuff on there.
Yeah. You go first.
Well, I'm going to go straight down. I mean, the first ones that pique my interest are... There's like a load of Neo games that are being remastered. But that seems to be just for PlayStation 5, according to this. We've got. It's not quite as good as RE. End of Judgment, Return of the Prince 4, Legend of Zero, but Super Mario World 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is definitely a pretty memorable title.
They're just pretty damn clunky, aren't they?
Plus Bowser's Fury. Is Bowser's Fury a quantifiable thing that you can add on to something like that?
It's like when they called it Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice instead of Batman versus Superman.
I know.
Like it just flows.
Batman 5.
Oh, that is funny. Can I take us on over to February the 11th for my personal most hype release of February, Little Nightmares 2. I'm very excited for that. We never finished all of the DLC for Little Nightmares 1, and it'd be fun to do that. But
that was due to COVID, actually. I
was going to say that's the reason for that. Maybe we'll finish it off and then play Little Nightmares 2 post-COVID.
I feel like I'd rather just jump straight into the second one, honestly.
Probably, yeah. I think there's some genuine plot and stuff in the DLC, some cool reveals and that.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
February 23rd. Now, without looking, I'm going to guess that they have made a football spin-off of Persona 5.
So, Persona 5 Strikers is actually a Dynasty Warriors Persona game.
Is it made by the company?
It is. It's made by Megaforce, who make Dynasty Warriors.
They're loving making these games.
So Persona 5 Scramble, which is the same game with a different name, came out in Japan last year.
Okay.
And they've just rebranded it for the Western audience for some reason, as if Scramble was completely difficult to understand. Like, oh, let's call it Strikers and make it sound like a football game.
I mean, Strikers does sound better than Scramble, because Scramble I would have assumed was a cooking game.
As if.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Scramble is probably the best Dynasty Warrior spin-off game that's been made so far.
Really? Better than Hyrule Warriors?
Yes. Because it actually has genuinely good quality. It's basically Persona 5 2, except instead of it being an RPG, it is an action game. But everything else that you like about Persona 5, like all the talking, all the, going around, walking around cities, doing stupid mini games, apparently that's all still there. So it's kind of like a sequel to Persona 5 almost.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, looking at the plot, it looks kind of.
But I don't really like Dynasty Warriors games too much. I'd rather it was just another RPG.
Yeah, you'd rather just a Persona sequel. Yeah, I guess it's made by different companies, so it's not like it's taken up their dev time or anything like that, at least.
Yeah.
That's a consolation.
I'm just going to interject. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. It's kind of... I haven't finished it, and it's kind of just like, alright. It's... I don't think I'm a fan of the genre.
Yeah.
It was very repetitive. And I think if you taking the Zelda characters out of the context of Breath of the Wild,
yeah,
I don't know whether it was because it's just the characters or whether it's the company's handling of the characters, but they were kind of cheesy, and honestly some of the characters are borderline cringy. Like, I didn't find that with Breath of the Wild, but I kind of didn't like the characters at all in Age of Calamity.
Oh, jeez.
Except for Link. Link is brilliant because
he doesn't speak.
He doesn't say anything, but they make a really big point out of the fact that he's a massive glutton. Like whenever there's an opportunity to eat food, there'll be a cutscene with things happening, and they turn around, and Link's got this freaking huge piece of meat.
That's
and
really funny.
Gorons are around him going, yeah, and he's eating it.
That's a really funny way of parodying the actual gameplay of Breath of the Wild, where he's just constantly making huge meals and eating them. That is really funny.
Sorry, anyway, let's continue this list.
No, I do love it. Nothing else in Feb, to be honest, appeals to me.
Well, Bravely Default 2 it's a sequel to a very well-reviewed, popular 3DS RPG series.
Fair.
It kind of looks a bit... It kind of, despite being on Nintendo Switch, still looks like a 3DS game.
Oh, really?
Also, this is another really fun naming thing. The original game's called Bravely Default, and then the sequel was called Bravely Second.
Saw that.
And then so Bravely Second was a direct sequel to Bravely Default. Bravely Default 2 is like Final Fantasy 2 in that it's a completely different world separate to the rest of it.
I hate it so much.
So they might, if it's successful, they might do a Bravely Second 2 as well.
That's so funny. Bravely Third 2, the fourth.
Or they'll just call it Bravely Default 3 and it will just make no sense whatsoever.
I mean, it looks like quite a fun art style, to be fair. Pretty chibi.
Move us on, Jack.
Move us right on. I'm going to move us right on to March. Harvest Moon One World.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, there's so many... I know this is kind of obvious because no one can even get a next-gen console, but there's so many games that are new that aren't releasing on next-gen consoles.
Yeah.
They're only releasing on PC, PS4, Xbox One. And even if you go quite far down into the year, there's still a lot of games that aren't releasing next-gen. Maybe they will later on.
In fairness,
that's quite interesting.
A lot of these games are not significant releases, and so...
Yeah, I mean, Harvest Moon One World, that's kind of fun for some people, but...
The Harvest Moon franchise got really, really bad when they moved to a new dev team, basically, so...
Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard a single thing about that, and Harvest Moon used to be a bit of a big deal.
I like that they specify that it does indeed take place on a single world rather than two. That does help. What's that even mean?
It's like we only have one world. Right, I'm moving the song swiftly, Jamie. Anything else you wanna jump in on?
I think it's obvious, Jack.
Is it Love Live School Idol Festival After School Activity YY Home Meeting?
I haven't got to that bit yet. Oh my god, that takes it. Oh my goodness, that is the best game on this list so far.
The longest Japanese video game name. It's a rhythm game, of course.
I was gonna say one which was less like it because I still like it. Saviors of Sapphire, Wings, and Stranger of Sword City. Revisited.
It's like, I don't get which words are supposed to be connected in that sentence. No. Saviors of Sapphire Wings and Stranger of Sword City? I guess it's two things. Oh, they are funny, aren't they?
Yeah, that's not quite as good as Love Life School Idol Festival After School Activity Way Home Meeting.
That's just brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, here, I mean, there's some more Yakuza. There's Prince of Persia remake. I think some people will be relatively excited for that. The first one I see that I'm actually...
it looks... If you look at the Prince of Persia remake, it's actually like being heavily criticised, and it looks really, really bad. And I think they delayed it. I think it was meant to come out last year.
That's not very good then. Actually, no, Returnal, I think, is one that's supposed to be a bit hype.
That's by Housemarque. They're really good. They made Resogun.
Oh, really? There you go. Yeah, it's a PS5 release.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. A third-person shooter, psychological horror. Looks kind of maybe Dead Space, but more action-packed.
Yes, I think it appeared in the original PlayStation 5 Blowout trailer. You know the one. Yeah,
I think I did see it there. Another one that did, Balan Wonderland.
I was going to say that looks really good.
That's just... I really like platformers. I want there to be more like high-quality 3D platformers.
You know how confident they are with this? It's made... You know who makes Balan Wonderworld? Balan Company.
That's how you know they have faith in their franchise.
You might know us from the unreleased game Balan.
That's like the confidence James Cameron has when he creates 5 Avatar films at once.
And then delays them. Because of COVID. Brilliant. They're meant to all be out by now. Or 2 of them, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the next one I'm sure you'll have some stuff to say about is Monster Hunter Rise.
Monster Hunter Rise looks really, really good.
March 26th.
That is a game which I wouldn't buy. I'm not going to buy in March, but if the the gods of 2021 look favourably upon this year, and I do actually get to go on holiday in the summer, that is a game that I'll probably pick up to play on the plane. That looks really good.
That would be a good one. I don't know anything about this, but Disco Elysium, the final cut.
So that is a free update to Disco Elysium, and they are adding full voice acting to all the dialogue in the game.
What?
Apparently, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
There's so much dialogue.
And they're adding more as well. They're adding more content too.
Man, I thought the current system was good, where they just say the first few lines of dialogue and then the rest you just read yourself. Like, that's reasonable.
I think it's all of it. It could just be more of it. At the very least, the main selling point of the Final Cut is that they're adding voice acting, so...
That's really cool. Yeah, I love Disco Elysium. I need to play more of that. So that's quite exciting.
You've skimmed right past Terminator Resistance Enhanced.
I did, because it was a 2019 game.
It's I find it fascinating how well that game did and how it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it must have done pretty well for them to release it on PS5.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, anyway.
Especially because the Terminator movie franchise has been like a bit as of late.
It has. That's the whole thing. We're not going to talk about that. I don't think we have time on this planet to talk about the Terminator franchise, but
I think April's your month. Unless there's anything else in March you want to talk about.
I am so excited for Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah,
April the 9th. I cannot wait for this game. It looks absolutely brilliant. Beautiful. Crazy.
Yeah. Everything Guilty Gear always is.
It's just... they did a trailer for a new character. Well, it wasn't actually. It was a returning character.
Mm.
And it's Faust. And it's kind of summarised the game. It's just like really, really heavy screamo metal introduced him in. And like this game's mental.
It's everything you love. It's incredibly weird. It's incredibly anime. They've got this heavy metal music playing. It's like it was tailor-made for Jamie.
It actually is. And our good friend Noel.
Oh yeah, he loves the fighting game too.
Watch Hitbox episode 1. He is getting this as well on his PS5, and we are.
Does he have a PS5?
He does, yeah.
He has not rubbed that into me.
He sent me a Discord message saying "my beautiful boy" or something.
Oh man,
this game better have crossplay, because that will dramatically change how much I enjoy it. Because if I can play with Niall, I will play this a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is another thing about having all these different systems. You need crossplay because you can't expect people and all their friends to have the same thing.
Well, no, but it only comes out on Steam, PS4, and PS5. It's not like it's that difficult. They only need to do PC, PS4 crossplay, which has been done many times before now.
Yeah.
But if you Google it, at the moment it says they have no plans to, which blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah,
why
that's
not?
A bit sad. Hopefully they will. I mean, yeah, Guilty Gear it just always looks great. Every time there's anything to do with Faust, you just send it straight to me.
I'm really glad it's coming to Steam, because at one point it was only announced for PS4. Not even PS5. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, it's on PS4 only for ages. And then they finally made it official. There's a Steam page and stuff. It's like, okay, good.
Yep. Very exciting times. Anything else in April? Nier Replicant? Does that appeal to you?
It should do. I just don't
know enough about it.
I played a bit of Nier Automata, however you say it.
Yeah.
It was fine. I think that game was a little bit. Here we go. Little take. I think that game was a little bit overrated.
Hot take.
I think it was a bit overrated, personally. I thought it was going for crazy. What I thought it was going to be was crazy action game, and
Yeah.
in some ways it was, and it was also there were also RPG elements in there, but for me it was kind of a half-assed RPG and a half-assed, not half-assed. That's a bit mean. Like, I'm not saying there's obviously effort and love put into it, but
Like
I mean
9/10 asked.
what I mean is they made an alright RPG and an alright action game.
Yeah.
The whole time I was playing it, I was kind of like, yeah, but Devil May Cry was so much cooler than this.
Yeah, it's always hard to have those comparisons. Humankind. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
That looks.
Sorry.
I was going to say that looks pretty good.
They're very vocal about wanting it to be a Civ beta.
Yeah.
I really hope it does. I'd love to see a competitor for it.
It will potentially be their downfall because it's inviting a lot of direct comparison to Civ, but it does look really good, and it looks very Civ. My only question will be, why should I buy this instead of just playing Civ?
I've gotten to a point with Civ 5 specifically. Sorry, Civ 6.
Yeah.
Where I think I'm ready for a new Civ now, really. I think I've explored... I mean, there's some people who play it way more than I have, but I think unless I play it with friends... If I play it with friends, I could play that game to the end of time, right?
Oh, yeah.
But playing against AI, I'm done with that now. I think the AI is not very good, and the system's very exploitable when you've played it enough.
Yeah.
Unless you play with friends, in which case it's completely different. It's always fun.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to play Humankind. I really hope it kicks it up the arse a little bit.
I mean, it looks exceedingly similar to Civ. So I'm very intrigued to keep an eye on this one and see what happens. Could be good. Also, while you were talking, I was just randomly looking at some of these other ones I haven't heard of. Curse of the Sea Rats looks pretty cool.
I've heard of that.
I haven't. It's just a 2D Metroidvania. Looks like a really cool art style. Very smooth animation. Just some pirate rats running around.
It came out of nowhere. It's kind of. I think again, like every other game on the planet, I think it met criticism. I think the studio. I could be wrong, but I think the studio had been hyping it up. And then when it came out, it was just a Metrovania.
Yeah.
But, I mean, taken outside of that context, I think it looks pretty cute.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a really standard Metroidvania, and that's the only reason I would buy it. Yeah, that's just something I'd never heard of before that popped up. I think there's only one in May that we're really interested in talking about. Rune Factory 5.
Rune Factory 5, actually, it doesn't appeal to me, but it's basically Stardew Valley anime with RPG elements, and I guess it has an appeal, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, I was just looking at Rune Factory 5 also while you were talking, and it does look good. And obviously a lot of people who like that franchise will be very excited. But the obvious one we are going to want to talk about in May releases May 21st, and that's Deathloop.
I really hope this is a good game.
Same. It looks very cool. There's a lot of games like this lately where they're kind of like a standard action-adventure game, and they've got like a very specific gimmick that kind of makes them stand out.
It kind of... Now, I don't think they've shown enough about this game for me to confidently say this, but it kind of looks like a roguelite in that you die and come back again and try a different strat.
Yeah, it does look like that.
But it's like the most high-budget looking of that genre that by far.
Yeah, because you have a lot of these. I'm trying to think of examples. We've played a lot on the channel, especially you.
What rogues?
What was that?
What roguelites?
like Ghost Runner, ones like that, where
Oh,
that sort of genre.
I'm not sure if it's. I'm not sure if it's like that though. I think from
Maybe not.
it suggests from its marketing only that if you die, you start right back from the beginning.
Mm.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, to me, there's a lot of games like that. Ghost Run is the only one I can think of the name of, but you've played a couple on the channel, and there's a lot of kind of like quite indie studios that make these sort of action shooter games with a specific gimmick, and this looks like just kind of a AAA version of that sort of genre.
Well,
Um,
they say that there's another assassin who is in an is equal situation to you, who is trying to
mm,
hunt you down at the same time.
mm.
So, and
Yeah,
I
it's this man and
think
this
they
woman, isn't
said
it?
that the woman can be controlled by an actual real person if you want them to be.
That's really cool.
That
That could be a
alone,
cool multiplayer mode.
I think, I think that is what it is. I think there actually is a multiplayer mode where you can play as the woman against another player.
That would be really cool.
That
Yeah, I need to see more of this.
that just looks. That sounds like such an appealing concept to me.
Yeah,
Like
it's very interesting.
I would absolutely love to invade your game and just be like, you get a little notification up saying, "Oh, Gladys or
Jamie
whatever
is
her
now
name is,
woman.
Gladys is now Jamie," and you're like, "Oh, for God's sake!"
It's like, would you like Gladys to be a real player? And I'm like, no. And this is too bad, lol.
Too bad Jamie has entered the game.
Jamie's entered Gladys's body. Oh man. And then, we'll look forward to Deathloop. We'll keep an eye on that one for sure. And then June, the only game we have announced for June is the 22nd. It's Back for Blood. It's multiplayer survival horror. It's a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead
Yes.
by the creators of the original game.
So it kind of looks like Left 4 Dead-y. And
I mean,
you
it's
look at
called
it,
Back for Blood.
yeah, and you're looking at it, it's like, oh, this looks really fun. This is going to be a really good game. And then it's £50.
Is it £50?
And it's like, that is not a game that should be full price like that.
Yeah, I don't really think so. I don't know enough about it. I've heard some like unhyped things. But £50 definitely makes me not excited either.
Gonna be honest with you, for 2021, if you're playing a Left 4 Dead like game, your attention needs to go towards Warhammer Darktide.
Yeah.
That looks really good.
I mean, should we just... That's a nice segue into the unscheduled games. This is a huge list of games that could come out at any moment. Should we go through these in alphabetical order? Because there's so many.
We could... It's really funny, actually. We could talk about this for ages. There's some real meaty stuff in here.
Yeah, we're going to have to pick through specific ones here. Can I actually, if we go in alphabetical order, we'll get back to Darktide. Can I start us off with an A?
Yeah, of course.
It's Away, the survival series. Have you heard of this game?
No, I haven't.
I have been following this game for absolutely years.
No.
Yeah, I think it was like a Kickstarter originally, and it was quite successful. And they've been on like Reddit and Twitter and stuff for years and years. And it's just like
I've heard of this.
I've
seen the gameplay for this.
Yeah, I still don't really know what it is. It's called like an action adventure indie game, but it's just like you play as animals and you just like walk around a forest, and it looks very, very high quality. It looks like it kind of controls well, and the graphics are nice. That's sort of the appeal. Like you feel like you're playing as these animals, but it's just really interesting, and it's scheduled to release next year. So I'm very excited to see what happens with this, and like what it actually is, sort of thing.
It does look I think. I'm a bit nervous about the quality of the game. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It is giving me Ark Survival Evolved vibes.
Oh man, why are you getting those vibes?
It doesn't look. Here, this might be completely unfair, but it kind of looks like an Unreal Engine 4 game that is using lots of Unreal Engine 4 assets, and it probably won't run very well at all, and it probably be really glitchy and buggy for a long time. That's the vibe I'm getting.
I mean, that's very potentially going to happen. There's a lot of people that are really hyping it up. For me, I even though I've seen so much footage of the game, I still don't feel like I know enough about it. So I'm excited to see what happens, but I don't know how it's going to release.
There's a lot of flying squirrel gameplay.
Yeah. I think it was originally it was just you play as a sugar glider, and then the Kickstarter was so successful they decided to add some other animals. I don't know if it's still primarily sugar glider and the other animals are just little sections or something, but it could be good. I'd need to know price as well, because they haven't announced the price yet, I don't think. It might just be a fun little game where you play as these animals, and for me it's kind of the size is what appeals to me. Like, it'll be fun to play as a sugar glider, and you can kind of crawl around on these trees and get real up close and personal with other animals and stuff.
The game looks kind of empty though.
It might be.
I'm don't know. I don't know if this is ready to ship yet. You know,
maybe not. I mean, I'm just checking out Google Images. I don't know. There's a lot of videos and GIFs and stuff where it looks like there's some cool stuff. Obviously, you just can't judge it because you don't know what condition it's going to release in.
I'm on the Steam page.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait and see before I get excited for this one. I think that's my critical opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you always should really with these games, isn't it?
The soundtrack apparently is by Mike Rasnick, multi-award-winning composer for BBC's Life and Planet Earth 2 nature documentaries.
That's pretty genius.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm optimistic for that game though. I've been following it for a long time.
Okay.
I hope it's good. I don't know what it's going to be like. What else do we have next? Bendy and the Dark Revival. Is that Bendy and the Ink Machine?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is. Sequel.
I know nothing about that game at all though.
I don't, to be honest. I'm pretty sure Bendy and the Ink Machine was supposed to be really good. That could be an exciting one to keep your eyes on. I
haven't got much to say about this, but I do think it's kind of cute that they're bringing out Alex Kidd. I think it's an Alex Kidd remake. And genuinely looks really nice. Like they've made it look really cartoony and cute. Which I actually might get that if it's not overpriced. I would love to.
God, it released in 1986.
Yeah, Alex Kidd's great. It's a platformer, and then you walk into some random houses and like do rock paper scissors battles with people. It's really weird.
Yeah, this looks really. I mean, the same. I don't have much to say, but this remake looks really, really nice.
I played it.
Into that.
I used to play it on my dad's Mega Drive. He had it on his
Mega
Drive.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really nice. It looks. The art style's lovely. It looks really nice.
It's kind of gorgeous, actually. They've done a really nice job of it.
They really have. Very nice. I don't have much to say about any of the other bees.
Oh man, I know this is going to go on forever. I hope you don't. I mean, why not? I mean, it's New Year.
It's New Year, Jamie. We've got to talk about all the games.
Yeah. Axiom Verge 2 is actually pretty hype.
I saw that. Oh, wait, where is it? Where's it gone? Oh, here it is. I don't know what that is.
So Axiom Verge is it's kind of, it was one of the tentpole indie Metrovania games that came out.
Oh, I do recognise this game.
And I'm pretty sure most, like, there was a whole thing about making the game good and raising money for it so that the developer could pay for his son's like cancer treatment or something. Like there was a whole thing about it. I'm sure it was like a whole big thing, and I think it did really well, and his kid's fine, and it's like really heartwarming.
Yeah, it's always nice when there's a nice story to go along with it.
That aside, Axiom Verge 2 does actually look, it's going to be good. I mean, the first one was really good, so
it looks like it's kind of like the first one looks kind of dark and rocky and alien hellish landscape sort of thing, and the second one looks kind of like snowy and ashy. It's like they've gone for like a completely different like biome setting sort of thing. It's very interesting. The same sort of aesthetic. Yeah, that could be cool. Very exciting stuff. C?
Yeah. Again, nothing to talk about, but very quickly, Bus Simulator 21. It just sounds hilarious. Anyway, go on. What's your C?
And I immediately skipped by it.
What's your C?
We have Shiv 2.
Yeah, yes. That is a thing.
We refer to the Chivalry franchise as Shiv.
We play it so much. Yeah. It's on the Epic Games Store only.
Oh, is it?
But
that's very upsetting for me.
It could be very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Chivalry was pretty great, so Chivalry 2. I'm sure a lot of people will be very much looking forward to that. Control Ultimate Edition. I mean, that's not a new game. We won't talk about that. But Control was good.
I need to play that. I'm gonna. That's a game. That's for me. That's like a. It might actually. To be honest, it might already be on sale. That's kind of a game that I was waiting for Game Pass. Actually,
yeah.
I have £17. That is so tempting.
It's got to be done.
I really want to play it. £17 is so tempting.
Yeah, I mean, it got nominated for /won a whole bunch of BAFTAs earlier in the year, didn't it?
Yeah, man. Tempted.
Good. There's a whole lot of games here that I'd love to look into further. They sound pretty cool, but I just don't know anything about them.
No.
Clockwork Aquario, Core Decay, Cotton Reboot. They could be cool games.
Oh, the next. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm very sorry if people are very much looking forward to a game and we just skim over it because we don't know anything about it, but there's a lot coming up.
We've got the next Dark Pictures anthology.
Yep, House of Ashes.
Not very hyped for that. The last two were kind of meh.
I haven't massively enjoyed the Dark Pictures anthology. I did quite like... what was it called? That's really upsetting.
The original one on PS4.
Until Dawn.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I did enjoy Until Dawn for all its campiness. It was just fun.
No, Until Dawn was the best one of the lot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was technically in the Dark Pictures anthology.
No.
And all of those games, they seem like they're lacking a bit. They've got some good people in them. Like, I'm pretty sure, what's his name? I'm going to Google his name because it's going to upset me. Will Poulter was in the last one.
Man of Medan I played.
Yeah.
And it's like the framework they had for it was amazing. Like, really, really well made game. But the story was quite uninteresting, really.
Yeah.
It was just it was fine. It wasn't scary enough. Which is very strange because they have all of the ingredients for it to be fantastic. They've got like different modes to make it into a movie night with your friends.
Yeah.
like if it was really good, that would be a staple for getting friends around to play that game.
Definitely. If Until Dawn had those features, it'd be great. Because I haven't played any of the Dark Pictures games myself, but I've watched them and played on YouTube, and it's just like the pacing seems off, and the whole just the feeling and the tone doesn't seem right. Whereas Until Dawn had a nice. I think it's because it was so much longer as well. I think they don't have enough time to properly build out like what's going to happen, sort of thing.
You know, you say that, but it's like the playtime of Man of Medan is longer than any horror movie.
No, yeah, when you put it that way, it's true. Yeah, because I mean, Until Dawn was just. It was quite a slow build. It was really cliche, and it was kind of supposed to be cliche. But you had these characters, pretty much all of them I hated at the beginning, and then the more you go through, some of them you end up like really rooting for, and it just gets great when you're like making these choices, and some of them just die immediately. Like I really enjoyed it, and it was genuinely spooky at times.
I would
like you say, I haven't found that with any of these ones.
No, I would very much like to see them really go all in on this concept they've got, and it would be very difficult to do and expensive. I appreciate that, like commercially, this might be risky, but I would love to see a game which is the length of a horror movie. Right, it's on let's say 2.5 hours long. You can finish it in 2.5 hours, or let's say 3 hours or something, like a long movie. So you can get friends around for a movie night and make that the thing, right? But have it so that the choices are insanely branched. Like because Man of Medan, there are branches and stuff, but it's not crazy complex. It is actually quite good. There are different, but it's not so different that it feels. I didn't want to rush in for a second playthrough because I could tell, and I also googled it. It wasn't like worlds apart. I would love to see a very, very ambitious branching storyline where you can finish a single playthrough for games which is incredibly short, but you just want to go straight back in for another one.
Yeah.
And you could have your mates around like several times. That would be so fun.
That would be.
Getting different groups around and seeing which way the story goes.
Yeah, no, it would be cool. I mean, the thing for me, like for what Until Dawn was, I thought it had the perfect level of choice and consequences to your choices.
Fair enough.
Like it wasn't insane, but it was things changed, and you could kind of trace things back to what you'd done, and there were different endings. You know, if characters died, you just skipped certain sections in the game later on where you would be playing as them and played as someone else. Like that's for me, with the technology we currently have, that's all I want out of a multiple choice game.
I mean, you said technology. It's not a technology thing.
It's time and money.
It's time and effort and money.
Yeah. But you know, it's like you've said before, that will become cheaper and easier to do as the technology improves. Like if AI can just do it for us.
They need to have a budget like a series on Netflix. They need to have. They said, right, you're making an entire series, but it's going to be one episode long in terms of a single playthrough.
Yeah. They need to guarantee whopping success.
Which means using IP that already exists, probably.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they're trying to do with Dark Pictures, establish a brand.
Because like Bandersnatch,
I
appreciate that is it's quite linear. You will go through all of it, right?
Yeah.
But that was incredibly ambitious because a lot of people probably just went through a single watch of that and were like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And then, but if you stick with it, that was really rewarding. I really enjoyed Bandersnatch.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, it's like you say, you've got to pick what you want to do. Do you want to have a full length game like Until Dawn, where you've got a fair amount of choices, but it's not too crazy, or do you want to have a short, like you say, a 3-hour experience where the choices are vast and you have to do it over and over and over again to see all the different options?
Yeah,
that's really the only options. Should we move on?
Yes.
Dawn of the Monsters.
No idea what that is. Do you?
No, but it sounds great.
Published by Way Forward.
You what?
Published by Way Forward. They tend to have good games.
Oh yeah. I hope it's a prequel to Undertale.
That'd be cool. I'd be down. That game already exists though. It's been made and it's called Deltarune.
That's true, which I actually think is far cleverer than it has any right to be. I don't actually have anything to say about any of these for a while. There's a few we've already covered.
I do. I know I've got lots of games that I'm picking out here.
No, that's fine. That's the point.
Digimon Survive looks really, really good.
Actually, I did see that a second ago and thought you'd want to speak about that, but then I forgot. Yeah.
Like, actually really, really good.
I mean, you've been kind of reliving your Digimon love lately, haven't you?
Not really. I could have done. There's lots of, like, new anime out for it. I haven't watched it. I haven't.
Oh, fair.
But Digimon Survive is... I mean, it's been on the cards for ages. It just looks really nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can move on from that.
No, that's fine. I don't know enough about it, to be honest, to have any relevant input.
That's fine.
Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance.
No idea.
It's interesting that some of them say what consoles they're coming out on, and some of them just say consoles. It doesn't say which consoles they're releasing on.
Just not
says
they're
releasing on consoles. Yeah, I guess so.
We're coming up to some big games here.
Yeah, there's some Dynasty Warriors, some Earth Defense Force. That's not massive for us.
Nah.
The first big one I'm looking at is an F. Do you mind if we go on down to the Fs?
I was going to say Far Cry 6.
I was going to say Far Cry 6.
Yes.
That's a big game. It's a huge AAA franchise.
AAA.
We have Giancarlo Esposito, the man who is in everything. And he's always an absolute pleasure. I really, really love the trailer for this game. I know it's purely cinematic; it doesn't show off any gameplay, but it's what you want from a cinematic trailer. It gives you the feel, a bit of background of the story. It's all fun stuff.
I hope this is a good one, because I actually would quite like to play a Far Cry game.
Yeah, I haven't played a Far Cry game in many years. I played a hell of a lot of Far Cry 3, played a little bit of Far Cry 4, and then I kind of just fell off of them. I really hope it's good.
It's one of the few Ubisoft franchises which isn't coming out every single year.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It always seems like a bit of love and care goes into them. Yeah, and I'm quite excited to see how this setting works with the gameplay. I feel like it can work very well, but it should be good. I'm excited for it.
I think. So I've also only played a little bit of Far Cry 4. What I played of it was actually really good, though.
Yeah.
I have a few friends from uni who, he's been on Hitbox, Jack Warren, and he really, really likes Far Cry 5. He really, really liked it a lot. He was hyped about that when it came out. He played it all the time, and he's still playing it. He's been playing it again recently.
I thought it looked really good.
It actually does look pretty good, yeah.
I played a hell of a lot of Far Cry 3 when that came out. I was playing it like multiplayer with my friends all the time.
So fun.
You got
I've never played it.
Vast. Do you remember Vast?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Potentially the greatest video game villain of all time. He's played by Michael Mando, who you might know as Nacho from Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
So we have a little Far Cry connection there with Giancarlo Esposito being the villain of Far Cry 6.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Cool,
what's his name in Better Call Saul? Los Pollos Hermanos. Gus Fring. God, what an idiot. Yeah, I mean, the list gets beefy from here on out, doesn't it?
Very, very beefy.
A lot of Ghost Runners here. That's funny. We were talking about that earlier.
So, Ghostwire Tokyo has a high potential, very funky looking trailer.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to be interested in Untitled God of War sequel.
I am. I thought it was titled, so I'm a bit confused by that. I thought it was called God of War Ragnarok.
It is, yeah.
Maybe they just haven't updated the Wikipedia yet.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing God of War lately. Because I just replay it every now and then, and I'm in that phase at the moment. It's the more I play it, the more I realise it's definitely one of my favourite games of all time. It's probably like my second favourite game of all time.
That's very cool.
It's so good. It's so fun to play. Not to use the meme too on the nose here, but it really makes you feel like Kratos. And for me, it feels like such a perfect, natural progression of the franchise. Because obviously the old ones were just hack and slash, action sort of thing, which, like we've kind of touched on, that's not really our sort of genre. Mm-hmm. So take it in this more strategic, more kind of timing specific combat. It just feels really right, and it still makes you feel really big and tough. And sometimes it can be really hard. It's so good. It's got some really good puzzles, great story, some of the best acting I've ever seen in a game. And I really can't wait for more of this franchise.
You're gonna be making me very jealous of the PlayStation exclusives over the next few years.
But you have a PlayStation.
I mean, a PlayStation 5. I'm not going to be having. There's not going to be any more. Untitled God of War sequel is not going to be on PS4.
That is true. Actually, I was thinking you'd still be able to play these games, but they're not going to be releasing previous gen, are they?
Horizon, what it was called? Forbidden West: Journey of the Lost Soul 2: Revenge of the Fallen is also coming out. Apparently next year. Oh well, this year now.
It is this year. It's on the list. Wait, that's H. Oh, we haven't got to H yet. We're on G. It's because I was looking at Untitled God of War. I thought we were on U.
Oh no, we've still got so much more of this list to go.
Yeah, we'll move on from there. I'm very excited for God of War. I don't need to say anything else about that. Everyone knows about God of War. The next one that everyone is very excited for is Goodbye Volcano High.
That game, it kind of creeps me out, actually.
You know what? It got so much stick when they announced it. I think it looks fine.
Oh, no. It's like... It looks really funny, but like I don't like the art style. It's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about it.
It quite appeals to me, you know, the art style. It's a bit different. It's a dinosaur narrative game, kind of dating simulator. Like it's just bizarre. I love how weird it is, and I love that they just went straight in. Like, this is the game we're announcing.
Yeah, on the PlayStation 5. It was like
next
Ratchet and Clank next gen game. Like, and now, Goodbye Volcano High.
Well, Jamie, this is going to be on PlayStation 4 and Windows, so you don't have to worry about missing out on this one.
Yeah, I'll be hopping in.
Yeah, it's really funny, and it also looks like maybe there's a sort of end of the world meteorite plot involved.
Oh, absolutely.
Hilarious to me. Yeah, moving on from that. The Good Life video game, is that based on the show The Good Life? We won't talk about that one. There's far more important things to discuss here.
Yeah, Halo Infinite being the one that's sticking out for me, but
yeah, I was going to quickly touch on Gotham Knights.
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, Gotham
I
Knights
forgot about
looks
that.
like it could be cool. So there's two Batman games releasing. There's this, and there's like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League or something.
Yeah.
Gotham Knights is the one we've actually seen gameplay of, so it sounds pretty cool. I think the plot is that everyone's been brainwashed, and you're playing as like the 4 Batman sidekicks. So it's Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, Red Hood, and it looks like your standard kind of action game where there's 4 characters with different moves and classes, and you do different things. But it could be very good. It looks pretty cool from what we've seen. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
Gotham Knights looks to me like a solid 7 out of 10 game that could be a lot of fun. Is it multiplayer?
I believe it's multiplayer.
Because if that game's multiplayer, that would be what the reason why I'd get it.
The game also features 2-player cooperative multiplayer mode.
Yeah, that is what would make me buy that game only.
And it's Lego style multiplayer. You can drop in and out without affecting the game.
That's pretty cool.
I like that a lot. Less commitment. I just want to play my game casually. That could be good.
So below this, we've got Grand Theft Auto 5 and Gran Turismo 7. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
My eyes keep tricking me because there's 2 grand next to each other, and I keep reading that as Grand Theft Auto 7. It's not. It's number 5 yet again.
And then underneath that, there's Gran and Grandad. Yeah, I mean, seeing Grand Theft Auto 5 on a list of upcoming 2021 releases boggles the mind. I mean, I guess it was one of the first PS5 games they announced. It's 8 years old now.
Yeah.
Technically only 7 and a bit, but you know, by the time it releases on PS5, it will be nearly a decade old game.
I have no interest in playing Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, I've actually got Grand Theft Auto 5 fatigue at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm almost at the point where I might want to jump back into it at some point, because it's been so long since I haven't played it, and they're still releasing it.
They released a brand new update to the online that is genuinely ambitious and good.
Really?
They released there's a whole new island that you can visit.
What?
Yeah, for free.
Crazy.
Yeah. I actually would be very happy if they're not. I don't think they're going to do this because they like their single player games too much. I wouldn't mind seeing Grand Theft Auto 6 be online only, because if they could put all the time and effort into making the online really, really good, I found Grand Theft Auto Online very fun, but it still does. It feels like a single player game with online tacked on.
Yeah, I actually don't enjoy online on GTA 5 as much as everyone else seems to. Like, if I'm playing that game, I often would rather just play it on my own. I mean, maybe I like doing a little race or something, but yeah, maybe if they put more into the online. But I think I would still miss the single player.
I'm not saying... I mean, I love the single player GTA 5, but overall, I've definitely played more GTA Online than I have done that single player game.
Yeah, I mean, you probably always will, won't you? I suppose it depends on the game. Yeah, I mean, the things Rockstar can do, they probably managed to do a great single player and properly flesh out a multiplayer.
All I ask is that they update their engine a little bit more.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2 was a very, very good game. But man, the controls suck. Like,
yeah,
everything feels so stiff. Like,
yeah, I always find that it feels a bit clunky.
Yeah. I really wish they'd sort that out, because Red Dead 2 was basically the perfect cowboy game.
Yeah.
I just found the controls in general were kind of clunky, but also on PC specifically, both Red Dead and GTA have the habit of doing bewildering keybinds. Especially GTA, like you hop in a plane and it's like, oh, you want to activate a parachute? Oh, just press the end key. And it's like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, probably not going to get a new GTA game for another 20 years, because they're just going to keep releasing GTA 5 for every console anyway.
I'm actually quite confident that GTA 6 is going to come out on this gen.
Yeah, probably.
It's totally the next game.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, that's quite an exciting thought, to be fair. We'll see what happens, though. The other Gs have some very fun names. We've got Graven Grifflands and the Gunk.
Name a better trio.
Grifflands. I think Grifflands looks cool.
No, I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah, the roguelike deck building
building
game. It does look pretty cool. Kind of a fun art style and that.
Yeah.
That could be one to look out for. It did release in July. It's just re-releasing on new systems. But it is supposed to be very good. It's coming out on Switch, so that'll be fun. Grounded also, that's fun. Have you played that?
I did play some of it. I didn't really want to play much. It's very much an early access game.
Did you play it on your own as well?
No, I played it with a friend.
Fair. So that would be fun.
It looks really fun, but it's a game where it's like, I would rather play this when it's finished.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully that's next year. That would be a fun one to play together. It feels so 90s.
Oh, I had a great time, briefly, but I just came across a few things where it's like, I don't want to be done with this game when it's in this state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting stuff.
Halo Infinite, obviously.
Got to it.
Yeah, I'm actually quite excited for Halo Infinite.
Yeah. It's exciting times.
That I actually think it looks pretty good. A lot. They've actually released recently a whole load of a whole update, like a news update.
Yeah.
And it had loads of new screenshots and stuff. Game looks great. Looks really. It looks like they really, really want to make it right. They want to make sure that it's a very good game.
Definitely.
And they also, I've said that it's going to be the Halo game. They're going to keep updating it and throughout the generation. So
yeah, as much as I've never really kept on top of the Halo franchise, it looks like a really good game.
Yeah,
it's pretty exciting stuff. We've got a lot of very exciting H's. Hello Neighbor 2.
Hello Neighbor 1 is terrible, absolutely terrible game beyond belief. That to this day is a broken mess, popularized by streamers and YouTubers. It isn't actually fun. It's a game that's fun to watch people play because it's so bad and buggy.
I mean, it got terrible reviews.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's a really fun concept. And
is it?
I think it is. Like, the idea of you have to break into someone's house and, like, do something, and then the other person's playing as the homeowner who's trying to stop you from doing that.
That's not Hello Neighbor. That's the Hello Neighbor. That's the spin-off multiplayer version.
Oh, Secret Neighbor.
Yeah, that's not the same thing.
Oh yeah, what one's Hello Neighbor?
Hello Neighbor is you just walk in. The game.
You have to get in his basement, don't you?
It's an incoherent mess.
Yeah.
You walk into this house. I can't even. It's a total mess, unfinished game. It's not a concept. I'm sorry. That you walk in, and this man runs after you for some reason. His house makes no sense whatsoever. It's full of like random art assets from the Epic store that's just been shoved in there. Honestly, I can't stand this game.
You're so angry about Hello Neighbor.
It's such a popular game, and there's like, it's really popular, but not only is it bad, it has bad reviews to back it up.
It has terrible reviews. I think part of the like selling point originally was that like the AI learns from what you do, but I think that turned out to be not really true, and the AI is just like pretty terrible or like overpowered.
The AI is gunk, and there's just it clips through walls.
Yeah.
It gets stuck on things all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on forever. Also, the game's unnecessarily difficult. Like, it's a game that only a streamer would play, because no normal person would have the patience to actually play this game properly.
If they're not getting any gain from playing it. Yeah, I mean, if they released a multiplayer game where you're trying to do something in the house and the other person's trying to stop you, I think that's a good framework to work up from. And they should.
That concept is good.
I know that's the most bare bones description of the concept I can possibly give, but you know, they could do something with that. Right, but Jamie, now we get on to the real meat of the H's. Hogwarts Legacy.
I'm actually really excited for this.
I'm very hopeful that this is a good game.
I think it actually, it's by Avalanche. It actually could be really good.
It looks good from the trailer. I mean, it's the most obvious thing in the world. Like, make a big RPG about Hogwarts where you make your own wizard and then go out into Hogwarts and live your Hogwarts life.
You know, this is kind of also a really good time for a Harry Potter game, I feel. It feels right. It feels like we're done. The movies are like a lot further enough away that it's kind of, I really want to go back into that world.
Yeah.
Specifically, making your own wizard. Like, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's like Pottermore, but far, far better.
And it doesn't even need to be crazy customizable for me. I just kind of want to play as a wizard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I just want to be able to choose what I can do. Like, do I want to go and brew potions? Do I want to go and see some weird animals? Do I want to go and learn spells?
For me,
explore the castle.
All it needs is like a light RPG elements where I can be a potion specialist. I can be a whatever specialist, a beast master if I want, stuff like that. It doesn't even need to be that in depth. Like, I kind of just want to be a wizard really bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's described as an RPG, and you've got locations: Forbidden Forest and Hogsmeade Village. I'm pretty hype. I'm
and it takes place
optimistic.
It takes place in the early 1900s.
Yeah, which is like perfect.
That's a very cool setting.
Yeah, like it doesn't. It's not like it's not going to feel the same because, you know, Harry Potter could have taken place in the early 1900s whenever they're in the castle.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm very hopeful for that one. I hope it's good. It looks very promising. The next one is one only I am very excited for, which we've talked about before, Horizon Forbidden West, a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. I really love that game, and I'm looking forward to playing more. You can kind of just do anything with this franchise at this point. It's just like, it's set like 1,000 years in the future. There's giant robots everywhere. Go nuts. Introduce
Pretty
more
much.
robots. Introduce more settings. More stuff with Aloy, who's a great character. Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be good stuff. It looks very nice. Over to you, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these games we can skip past, but we've got. I'm just going to do a few. Inazuma 11: Great Road of Heroes is a football RPG.
Is it?
It is. The original Inazuma games came out on the DS, and then they made one on the 3DS, and they took a long break because this one is a considerable step up from those games. Not something that I'm interested in buying, but Level 5 are well known for their RPG games, and Inazuma was good when it came out originally.
It got its own anime.
Yeah, it did.
That's a very interesting concept.
We've got.
Looks nice.
What was the other one? Oh, The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 4 is kind of like a really intensely heavy story-based RPG, which is famously completely inaccessible. You have to play the games in order.
Really?
Which is impressive, because a lot of people are going to buy this game because it's become popular now, who have never played a Cold Steel game before, and are going to just you just won't enjoy it. The other games, I could be wrong, but I believe Cold Steel 3 has I'm sure it has a record for the most words in a video game.
Really?
It's insane. They're really, really big games in terms of story.
One that I did just notice we skipped by is Kena Bridge of Spirits.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. That looks really pretty. That was one of the big PlayStation 5 ones that they announced early on.
I tell you what, I saw that game and I was like, yeah, this looks next gen.
Yeah. I think that was the first time I saw a game, and truly thought that. It looks very good. I'm definitely excited to see more of that one.
The animation's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like Pixar quality. It looks great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for more really well animated games.
Definitely.
I do like stylistic animation. I think some companies go too much for realism, and it's just easier to do a stylistic animation and have it look great.
Unfortunately, they're just. I think The Last of Us Part 2 being the exception here, because the animation in that game is amazing.
Yeah.
But generally, you can't. It's hard to do realism because the character never interacts with the environment the way it should.
Yeah.
And there's always stuff you can see in many games when the life goes out of their eyes. I'll try and explain this, and I think I know I think you'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
When you've got a cutscene and they're vibrant, the animation's brilliant, and then it kind of zooms out the cutscene and goes into gameplay, and they kind of just rigid back to being game person again.
Yeah.
And there's still games that still do that today. Loads of games.
Yeah.
I
think.
Sorry.
No, sorry, I completely interrupted you there.
I was going to say, Last of Us Part 2 just being the exception, I think.
Yeah, no, this is probably me being biased because I mainly play PlayStation exclusives, but I do think PlayStation exclusives are generally the exception.
Yes.
Although very, very few, the biggest AAA games like Last of Us 2, God of War would be another one, I think, because the whole game is made to look like it's one continuous shot.
Yeah, no.
So when it goes from a cutscene to gameplay or vice versa, it's obviously very smooth by design because that's the whole appeal of the game. But yeah, like you say, it's much easier to pull off things like that if you do a much more stylistic animation style. And yeah, it looks like there's a few of those coming out, so hopefully more people go for that. It's kind of like The Sims. I think The Sims, say what you want about The Sims, I think they did a good choice with the art style. because they very easily could have tried to go more realistic after the original games. But
Yes.
from Sims 4, they definitely went more cartoony. I think that was a good choice.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I just don't like. I think Sims has gone in a terrible direction. Really,
You just hate The Sims.
no. The concept of The Sims is great. I just think
Yeah.
that they turned it into a huge cash cow.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I agree.
I find it difficult to talk about
Art
Sims
style
without
alone.
thinking about that.
Yeah. Next one is one we're both very excited for, Jamie. It's Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Dry Twice.
I was going to be very sensible and say the Lord of the Rings Gollum, actually.
Yeah, let's go straight onto that and pretend I didn't say anything.
The Lord of the Rings Gollum looks like a bad game.
Yeah, I think so. Which is a bit of a shame, because it's kind of a cool idea.
Because it would be nice to play a Gollum game, that's good.
Yeah, like...
Be really fun to play as Gollum.
just controlling Gollum sounds fun.
Yeah.
Like,
imagine being able to be Gollum and then like crawl around every conceivable surface. Like that'd be so fun.
Like Breath of the Wild, like he just climbs on things.
It'd be like Breath of the Wild, but you can climb really, really fast.
Yeah. I mean, it still could be a good game. I don't really know. I haven't. It's got kind of this morality thing, doesn't it? And
I think after Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, they are such high quality Lord of the Rings games. I think to go from them to another company, obviously I know that, releasing Gollum, I just think it's so obviously a more budget game, and it deserves to be more of a big deal than it looks like it's going to be.
Yeah, they've been pretty quiet about it, to be fair. We'll see. Maybe it'll be good. It doesn't look the most promising.
I must say, Martha is Dead disturbed me a little bit.
Yeah, what is Martha is Dead? I've heard of that.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's a PS5 psychological thriller. I think that's one of the ones they announced before. I realise now that you were joking and you'd never heard of it before.
Never heard of it in my life.
I'm stunned that Marvel's Avengers is being released on next-gen consoles when already no one is playing it.
Well, it has to be released on next-gen consoles. They can't not do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's
money on that one.
It's a money sink, but they at the very least should release it on next-gen consoles, get it over and done with, and then bury it.
It looks...
They can't leave it to die yet. That would hurt too much.
Just looks so boring.
But we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah, we have. You got any M's or N's you want to jump into?
Mass Effect Legendary Edition is something that I'm interested in because I've never played Mass Effect before.
Fair. Me neither, actually.
Microsoft Flight Sim. The reason I'm bringing that up is because they're doing lots of big updates on that. They've recently added loads of UK landmarks, which is really nice.
Oh, that's fun.
As a big UK update. And there's also a VR update that's been promised soon.
That'd be very cool. It's weird that the genre for that is amateur flight simulation. That feels really specific. Surely they would just put simulation.
Yeah, it also seems a little bit harsh because, I mean,
it's not that amateur.
It is actually it's actually pretty intense.
Yeah, especially if you get all the setup.
Yeah, and you can, and it will allow it. It's not that amateur. Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord looks really good.
Yeah,
that's already out right now. That's in early access as we speak.
It's releasing on Win.
Sorry, I'm kind of running through these. I hope you don't mind.
No, this is all you.
Neo: The World Ends With You.
I knew you were going to say that one.
I'm really hyped for this. They've basically they've made it's a World End for You sequel, which is crazy. No one ever thought that would happen, and they've gone to 3D models, and I'm quite excited for it. It's a game. I'll get on my Switch.
Yeah.
I just have to cross my fingers that it runs well. I get a bit nervous with third-party games on the Switch because the fact that it's on PS4 as well.
That's what I was going to say.
Makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Because it's a game that I would want to play on my Switch. I just hope it's not really blurry or anything. Because it looks like a really fun game.
The genre there is amateur Neo Simulator.
I don't even know what Neo is. What does Neo stand
new.
for? I don't know what Neo means. I think Neo's a character. Anyway.
Fair.
No More Heroes 3 is... I've never played a No More Heroes game. Apparently a lot of people are excited
about that one. I
that's
thought you were going to point that one out.
Suda51 made this game. Very weird game. They all are. They released a spin-off No More Heroes game on the Switch a couple of years ago, and it was awful. But that was only meant to be like a little aperitif.
Fair. Following an 11-year hiatus since the last numbered entry. Well,
yeah, the last one came out on the Wii, and it's pretty good apparently.
Fair. The next one is one I'm excited for. Is
I know.
Oddworld Soulstorm, which we have also talked about before. Oddworld is just such a weird, dark franchise. It's like
unsettling. It's really unsettling.
Very unsettling, and it's like one of the first video games I ever played.
That's really cool.
Kid, which is really funny to me. It used to freak me out a bit, but I was very intrigued by it. If anything, it kind of freaks me out more now because I feel like I understand what's happening better.
Yeah, definitely.
It was always a really weird aesthetic. It's one of those things where, for a long time, I had vague memories of it and thought maybe that was just a fever dream I had, and that wasn't a real thing that happened.
Really funny.
It's a really cool franchise, and it seems like it's actually got quite a large nostalgic following, which is always nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the animation looks very cool on these new ones, so I'm very excited for that one.
Can we appreciate that it's developed and published by Oddworld Inhabitants?
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Another very brave naming of your studio there.
Oddworld Inhabitants, known for Mario Party 8.
Yeah, I mean the game was released a couple months after I was born, so it's a Jack original. I think the next one is one you should discuss if it's what I'm thinking you're going to look at.
Overwatch 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the Outlast trials.
You know, I completely washed over that by accident. Yeah, the Outlast trials, that could be really, really good. For me, this is what... now I need to remember the name of it. There was a Resident Evil 3 multiplayer mode, and it was called Resident Evil... Was it... Outbreak or something?
Before, I think.
What was it called?
I'm going to beat you to it.
Yeah,
Resident Evil 3 multiplayer. Resistance.
Beat you to it. I remembered it first.
I actually just saw a news article. I didn't even remember it.
Resident Evil Resistance was kind of a really, really good idea.
Yeah.
But it's just terribly executed.
Yeah.
This... I'm not saying that Outlast Trials might not be anything like it. They haven't really released much information about it.
Yeah.
But it's a multiplayer online Outlast game, and that just sounds really, really fun.
Yeah.
And it could be... It's dedicated. It's a dedicated Outlast game for multiplayer.
I mean, yeah, the setting sounds really cool as well.
Yeah.
That could be a very fun one for us too.
I'm just reading about it. I mean,
it's a prequel to the first two games. It's about test subjects in a mysterious Cold War experiment that's set in the same universe of the previous games. Yeah, that could be a really fun one for us.
It is multiplayer. Yeah. I think that's going to be a really good one. I think multiplayer is going to add. There's not many multiplayer horror games at all. Not that I can think of right now, anyway.
Not like quite big ones.
Well, there's multiplayer horror games, but they're kind of not really horror in the traditional sense. Like that really terrible one that I don't like. That's really popular, which you play as survivors and murderers. I can't remember what it's called though.
Days Gone. That's not it. Is it Days Gone?
No,
Dead by Daylight.
That's it. That's kind of not really horror because it's so fast paced and competitive.
Yeah, and it's quite funny.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
Yeah,
funny at how bad it is. We've got Overwatch 2.
I also think you should talk about.
It's both a standalone game and a paid update for Overwatch 1.
Yeah.
It is adding a single player mode as well as updating. It seems to be updating like all the current characters plus adding new ones.
Yeah.
I really like Overwatch. I got into it too late.
Yeah.
But it's a game. Overwatch 2 is a game that I really want to try and get into, preferably with some friends, because I think Overwatch is actually a really, really fun, well-made game.
This might shock you, Jamie, but I've still never played Overwatch.
It is at these days, it's the only kind of, I say arena, like small scale multiplayer fast paced game
like
that
a
I can
Team
tolerate.
Fortress 2-esque sort of game.
It's just kind of, but it's like Team Fortress 2, but every character, there's loads of characters.
Yeah.
And they're completely unique, all of them. They're all very, very unique.
Yeah, I mean,
you can be really crap at the game and still make a genuine impact on the match.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really appeals to me. I don't know why I've never played it, to be honest. I think it's one of those things where I feel like if I did play it, I'd want to dedicate a lot of time to it. So I've just never kind of got involved. But yeah, maybe I'll start jumping in when Overwatch 2 releases.
For me, it's pretty fun just to jump into every so often. Like,
yeah,
I never feel like I'm doing bad in it. Like, you genuinely can just jump in and have a good time without having to play it. Because there's some like games like Call of Duty. I feel like if you jump off the bandwagon for too long, you're just not going to have a good time. Well, for me anyway.
Yeah, I feel like I have that.
Overwatch is good. Sorry,
I feel like I've had that with a lot of these PvP games where I just feel like I'm not good enough at the game and I need far too much practice. So yeah, maybe I'm just not giving it enough of a chance. I feel like the idea of a single player appeals to me a bit because I can practice somewhat before going online.
I actually think you should give Overwatch a crack. I'm really deadly serious. It's like it's so accessible, and you really do genuinely have a good time.
Yeah.
I think we're quite similar in that regard with multiplayer games. In that you do just fall off if you don't play it enough. And I personally don't want to be committed to a game that hard right now. So having something that's accessible is quite important.
Yeah,
for me.
Very exciting stuff.
Do you want to go down the list? We've still got a few more to do.
I mean, I've got some P's that I can talk about.
Go on.
Phasmophobia.
That is already out.
Yeah, but I think is it still in early access?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's only on PC. So yeah, I think it's getting a official release. I really enjoy Phasmophobia. I think if they just flesh it out a little bit more, do some little kind of bug fixes and quality of life fixes and stuff.
Yeah.
That is a really fun multiplayer horror game.
Yeah.
It's really funny. It could be nice and spooky, especially if you play it in the dark. And yeah, I feel like you can have fun with that for quite a while. It's good stuff. Psychonauts 2. Did you ever play Psychonauts?
No, but I'm excited for Psychonauts 2. I know what it is.
Yeah, this is very, very exciting. Psychonauts was a PS2 game that was... This was another one kind of like Oddworld for me, where it felt like it was like extremely unknown, but now it seems like it has a massive nostalgic following, and loads of people are really excited for this one. So that's very exciting. It looks very good. I'm very excited for that. If you don't mind, I'm going to move on to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Please do.
Again, I absolutely love Ratchet and Clank. It's one of my favourite video game franchises. And it's another one where the animation has gotten like insanely good and smooth, and it looks really beautiful. And
it looks amazing.
The next one looks it looks so good. It looks really fun. I hope it has kind of a fun, campy story, like the old ones. The name. You don't like Rift Apart?
This should have been funnier.
Yeah, they kind of did that. I think they changed some of the names of some of the older games. Like there was like Go Commando and what was the other one? There was a lot of
Up Your Arsenal.
Up Your Arsenal. They changed that to Locked and Loaded, I think.
Yeah, they did.
And even the remake, they remade the original game, and they took out a lot of the, I say adult humor. It's pretty childish humor, to be honest, but it's just funny because it's like just really silly stuff. And that was always kind of sad, but
no, I'm really hyped for this game.
Yeah.
I just loved the naming of the Ratchet and Clank games.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. It looks good. I'm hoping for a fun, campy story. Lots of very fun, crazy gameplay with cool gadgets and weapons.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a cool one with the controller. I feel like they're gonna do some cool stuff with it.
I think it's gonna be a really proper meaty PS5 game.
I think so as well. I mean, DualSense is probably the thing I'm most looking forward to about the PS5. I can't wait to use that controller. Yeah, and this game looks great. Ray tracing, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Should we jump onto Resident Evil Village?
What's that?
Well, it's actually called Resident Evil Eightage.
Eightage.
That's
coming out. Probably coming out pretty soon, actually, because Resident Evil games come out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like it's not that we've seen a hell of a lot, but what we have seen, it looks pretty bulky so far.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. I think we're both very much looking forward to Resident Evil Village. The franchise, as of late, has been hit after hit. It looks great. It looks spooky. It looks fun.
I'm gonna suggest we skip ahead quite a bit because a lot of the R's don't really appeal to me.
Yeah, I'm happy to skip the R's. Rust is coming out on PS4 and Xbox. Untitled RWBY game.
The next one that catches my eye is Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Okay.
It says Q1. We'll see about that. I don't think it's coming out in Q1.
Whoa, someone doubts.
No, I really want to play it. They haven't released any gameplay of it yet, so there's no way it's coming out in Q1. That's insane.
Yeah.
So Shin Megami Tensei 5 was released. They revealed on the very first Nintendo Switch event back in 2017.
Whoa.
And they it was like a cinematic. It wasn't even a trailer. It was basically just like, we're making it. And then they said absolutely nothing about Shin Megami Tensei 5 for 3 years, until a few months ago they released an actually good cinematic trailer. But to say it's coming out in Q1 21, that's not happening. There's no way.
Especially when you haven't heard anything. Yeah, I mean, there's things here saying that people just assumed the game had died in development, and they had to like reassure people they were still working on it.
Yeah, they were completely radio silent for 3 years, basically.
Yeah. This is one that I don't think either of us actually have anything to say about, but I just want to point out, Sam and Max, this time it's virtual. I think a lot of people will be quite excited for that. A new Sam and Max game.
Yeah, true.
That's a very old...
That is true.
Say very old. I think it's from like the 80s or 90s. Like animated. I think it was a comic book first, and they've had some video games and stuff.
I have actually heard of that a little bit. I don't
I've heard a bit of fuss being made about that. I think that would be fun. Quite a funny little adventure game. Probably a bit old school.
I know where your attention's probably going to go to next.
What do you think it is?
Sons of the Forest.
I hadn't actually looked at that yet, but yeah.
They released a gameplay trailer of that last week.
Oh, really?
And it's hype. The game, I wouldn't be surprised if it came out next year. Honestly, actually, I don't think it's ready for this year yet. The gameplay trailer's kind of a bit janky. It looks like an alpha video.
Yeah.
The one thing that looks unbelievably next gen is the digging animation.
Really?
I'm telling you now,
specific.
I have never seen a better digging animation in any game ever.
That's really funny.
I'm not kidding. Watch the trailer just for the digging animation. It's ridiculous.
I will now. That's another one that we should play. We never played The Forest together, so that'd be good.
I really, really am looking forward to playing The Forest 2 with you. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
Are you watching the trailer?
I'm not now. I will afterwards. Okay. So.
I think you'll agree with me that it looks like they've got the framework done, but they just need to polish up the animations, kind of like finish it off. And I don't think it wouldn't surprise me if they delayed it until next year. But that's cool. I don't mind.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What else do we have here then? Spelunky 2?
Yeah, that's already out. It's just not on the Switch yet.
Fair. Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe?
I've never played Stanley Parable.
Have you not?
No.
I thought that'd be one you'd quite enjoy.
Just missed out on it.
Steins Gate Zero Elite?
Stalker 2, is actually a big one, but I have no experience with the first one, but apparently Stalker is like an absolute classic. I've just not played it before.
Fair. Yeah, I did actually completely skim over that. So that's a good one to bring up. Obviously we have Stray, which looks very interesting.
Can't remember Stray.
It's the one where you play as a cat in like a robot Japan.
Oh yeah.
It looks like a really pretty game. I don't really know what it's going to be.
Why aren't there more games where you can play as cats?
Yeah, it seems obvious. A futuristic cat simulator, just walking around, I don't know, future Japan or something. It's cool.
Temtem's coming out of early access apparently this year.
Temtem is what I was going to say as well. I wonder if that's going to be ready.
I don't.
You don't
really have much interest in it?
I think it looked really good from what I saw, and they just needed to add more. And because it had such a successful Kickstarter, hopefully they can.
You're going to hate me for saying this. I hate myself for saying this. Despite all my constant negativity towards Game Freak, this year is quite possibly going to be the year that we see Diamond and Pearl remakes.
Oh man!
And I am fully expecting it to be absolutely bare bones, but I can't not be excited for a Diamond and Pearl remake. So
I'm going to be so sad if they re-release Diamond and Pearl and they like cut out loads of Pokemon, or if it's stuff like that.
At the very minimum, it will have all the Pokemon from the original.
Yeah.
But the kind of what I'm nervous about is that
they re-release the same game and charge you £50.
I don't even. If it was as good as the original, as in a carbon copy, I wouldn't even be. I mean, I'm not saying that's good value for money. It's not. I wouldn't be upset with that. I'd happily play that game again. But my fear is that they'll somehow make it worse.
Yeah, they'll find a way.
Quick prediction, if you don't mind. I know this is like so deep into the podcast that doing something like this is ridiculous, but
it's fine.
You know the post-game island in Diamond and Pearl?
Yeah.
My prediction is that they'll make that into the wild area like they have done in Sword and Shield.
Maybe.
And I kind of want them to, because I kind of feel like it actually is already a bit of a weird place in the game, and it'd be kind of nice to make it into a big open area.
Or they'll cut it completely.
Can you imagine if they there was no post game in Sword and Shield? It's almost like they're remaking a game, so they're forced to put more effort in. With Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, that is the most feature-rich Pokemon game purely because they had to copy the original, which had the entirety of Kanto in the post game.
Yeah.
And they had to remake the whole of Kanto with the DS graphics, which was like so good.
But
they would never have done that if it hadn't been a remake.
Yeah, it is insane.
Sorry. Anyway, that's not even on this list, but I'm actually fully expecting that game to be announced.
It probably will be.
Couple of months time.
First. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Quarantine. That sounds a bit too close to home.
That sounds a little bit too close to
home. Yeah, cool. We don't know anything about that. A whole bunch of Vampire the Masquerade games here.
Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I'm actually quite excited for. I think it could be really good.
It's a really funny name, I think.
It is, and it's very confusing.
If you look at the name of the first game, first one's called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline. Oh no, the first one's called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. So it's not that weird a name. They just put 2 on the end.
This game actually has high potential to be a real deep role-playing game.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, this was one I actually only just looked at before we started the podcast, because I saw it on there, and it does look pretty promising. I mean, unless you've got anything else to mention, I feel like we're going to finish how we started this segment by talking about Warhammer 40k Darktide.
We've got Warhammer 40k Darktide, and this list, there's a couple of games that they've missed out, which I want to quickly, briefly mention.
We can go for that.
Bayonetta 3
hasn't
got a release date at all. It's not necessarily going to be a 2021 game, but Bayonetta 3 is a game that could come out this year.
Okay.
Along with Breath of the Wild 2. Those are 2 games which might come out this year. Yeah. So we've talked about both of those before, but I wanted to just mention them.
No, yeah, that's fair enough. Either this year or next year. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Darktide before. Vermintide's great. You know, Darktide's a great idea. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
It's a great universe to explore. Toy Soldiers HD, really randomly. That's also one that I think looks kind of cool. It's an RTS where you play as, like, toy soldiers on, like, a diorama.
Yeah, I'm actually quite interested in that.
It's an old game. I've just never played it, and it's been released on new consoles. That's the entire list, Jamie. We managed to go through all of that.
that actually, I'm actually quite impressed. That was both really fun, and as a comprehensive video for all of you to come back and watch, and go through how many games did not come out this year.
we definitely cannot continue on to a normal podcast format after that. It's gonna have to be
this is it. In the next, I originally I wanted to have a quick mention for Super Nintendo World, but I think we should give that more time, because there was a leaked video of someone actually riding one of the rides.
That's quite exciting,
and I do want to talk about it. And this is not the time to talk about it.
Well, we can. You can consider that a teaser for next time. We'll be back very soon to talk about more general 2021/gaming/movie news. And obviously we'll talk about what we've been playing and watching. But I feel like now is not the time.
No.
If you agree with me there.
This is our longest Sandbox we've ever done, I think.
And we've gone for a single Wikipedia list.
Yeah, thank you Wikipedia for providing that list.
It's a great list.
For providing the platform in which someone else who we don't know made that list for us. We probably should have made it. We probably should have contributed to this list because we found some mistakes on there. But it's okay. That was basically alright.
Oh my god. The reference is at the bottom.
I know, I just looked at that. It's really funny.
291.
Well, if you manage to get to the end of this podcast, you're obviously a super fan. So thank you very much for watching.
Thank you exceedingly for watching.
If you you have to subscribe at this point.
Oh yeah.
It's actually if you're from the UK, it's actually the law.
True.
So.
Or
sorry.
Or if you're from Iran.
What a strange thing to say.
I'm trying to think of a really random country. I feel like Iran's not even that obscure a country.
Iran's not.
Came to mind.
Yes. So if you're from Iran or the UK, Kingdom,
yeah.
if you're from America, you're don't worry about it. It's
home free.
I think a large percentage of our watchers are from America, which is why I specifically said that.
90% or something.
So bye.
Bye.